This video is sponsored by Rosetta Stone. G'day. Hello. I just love your guys' accent. Are you British or Australian? I can't hear the difference. You really should be able to. It's pretty basic. Hey, I know. Why don't we make a video explaining the differences between British and Australian English? Well, that's a fantastic idea. Of course, there isn't just one British accent. There are lots of them. Yeah, and Australian English isn't totally homogenous either. But we don't have the great differences between like north, south, east and west that you get in the British Isles. One thing that British and Australian accents have in common is rhoticity. No, mate, he said rhoticity, not rotisserie. Where do you get these people? Sorry. Rhotic accents are ones that preserve historic R sounds in all contexts, whereas non-rhotic ones only have Rs after vowels. Most of North America, Scotland, Ireland and the west of England are rhotic, but the rest of the English-speaking world isn't. Which is why I think sometimes Americans confuse British and Australian accents. They hear the lack of R's and then they don't notice the other subtle things. So like when we say something like, her mother's car is in front of the barn. Her mother's car is near the barn. Yeah, so something we have in common is the lack of an R sound in that sentence, but I think the difference is a bit too subtle to start with. I'm not sure it's the best example. No, maybe you're right. Something more striking is the fact that Australians tend to use much more flapping than British people would. We do? No, I know. You mean flapping like when you get a T or D between vowels? So like in the data editor needed a better way to modify the letter. When we hit the roofs of our mouths very quickly with our tongues. North Americans do that too. Don't Brits flap? No, we're totally unflappable. Well, we do it sometimes, but mainly between words. So we might say we haven't got a lot of pretty water bottles, with taps in got a lodder, but pretty water bottles without taps because those T sounds are in the middle of the word. Actually, people in the north of Ireland do quite a lot of tapping, and I wonder if that's where the American and maybe even the Australian versions come from. Yes, a lot of people, especially Ulster Protestants, came to Australia from Ireland for the gold rush in the 1850s. As you can probably tell, I'm passionate about accents and pronunciation, and I love to get feedback on how I'm doing. Recently, I've been using Rosetta Stone's voice recognition tool. You can set the sensitivity anywhere from easy to difficult and have different settings for different languages. That determines how strict it is in accepting or rejecting your pronunciation. I've been learning Swedish.
En kostym.
En kostym.
En kostym.
En kostym. You can get a lifetime subscription to all 25 languages, which is a dream come true for a language nut like me. Especially since it's over 60% off at the moment. Each lesson's only 10 minutes long, so it's easy to fit into my schedule. And I can use it both on my phone and a computer, and my progress syncs between the two. I strongly recommend you give it a try. There's a link in the description below, or you can scan the barcode on screen now for a 60% discount for a lifetime subscription to all 25 languages. One important difference is the goat vowel, as in greatest of all time. No, mate, as you know full well, phonologists use example words to name groups of sounds. Yeah, so the goat vowel is the one in soap, no, toad. Yeah, in Aussie accents that tends to be quite distinct. The old man wrote a note about the cold road leading to the coast, where a lone boat floated slowly. Yeah, it varies a lot in the UK, so toad, 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 etc., but nowhere says toad. Yeah, another thing in Australia is that it varies according to whether it's got a consonant after it or not. So goat, but go. She knows they'll go solo to a yellow photo studio in Tokyo. And your goose vowel's pretty distinctive too. That's true. Yeah, I think another biggie is what comes at the ends of words that have ER or A at the end in the spelling. So like bigger, better, comma, banana, opera. Yes, we tend to have a schwa in there, so bigger, better, banana, camera, opera. Oh, and we said we'd come back to her mother's car. Yeah, that's a more subtle difference, but it could still be useful. The vowel in car is the palm vowel. And that actually varies quite a lot in Australia as to which words people have it in. So some people might say dance with the palm vowel, while others say dance with the trap vowel. I think in any case, your palm is much further forward in the mouth than ours. I don't think you'd get that mostly in the UK, other than possibly in Manchester. Hey, mate, can you hear the difference now?
Yeah, I think I can.
Good on you. Well done. Oh, and by the way, Britain and Australia aren't the only places you could come from if your first language is English. You should really say, are you from Antigua and Barbuda, Bahamas, Botswana, Burundi, Barbados? Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like more information about Australian accents, check out this video. See you next time. Bye for now. South Africa, Trinidad and Tobago, Zimbabwe.